Is Jimbo Fisher angling to get an SEC job? Like, is that what's going on here? I want to talk about this. I also want to remind you that we are charging toward 100,000 subscribers. I just want to get my little big play button, my little national championship, and you can help me do that simply by hitting the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. It's not going to mess up your algorithm. I don't even think it does anything other than tell YouTube you like the channel or you like me. Both of those things, even if you don't like me, subscribe to the channel. I'm fascinated by Jimbo Fisher's timing as he went on an SEC radio show to say, hey, guys, there's only so much hunting and fishing you can do. I'm going to be watching a lot of film, and I'm going to be looking for an opportunity. He did not say this on Big Ten radio. He did not say this on ACC radio. He did not say this on Big 12 radio. That man is trying to be Bobby Petrino in the SEC in 2025. You know what? I don't blame him. I don't blame him in the least. I understand. I'm also going to point out here that I think you go down to FAMU right now and they give you a job. I'm sure they find something for Jimbo to do if that's what Jimbo wanted to do. Why did I say FAMU? Because his son Trey is a quarterback at Florida A&M after transferring from UT Martin. Learning something new about the Fisher family. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're learning that they really like Florida. They really like Tallahassee. They like it the way that I like Atlanta. They like it the way that I like Houston. They like it the way that I like DC. They like it the way that I like Chicago. Jimbo, my man, your man. I would love to see you back in the SEC. I would love to see Jimbo Fisher as a play caller because Jimbo Fisher is one of the better play callers in my entire life. Like, that's full stop. So is Bobby Petrino. As head coaches, he won a national championship. Like, he gets to say that. Like, that's on the resume. He's got one of those. Who else in the sport has won a national championship in BCS or the college football playoff era? Okay, he did that at Florida State, succeeding Bobby Bowden. Also went 9-1 in the plague year, right? Remember that? But when it didn't go well, Aggies fans did not take it well, okay? So 2022, for those of y'all that don't remember, Jimbo Fisher signed the number one class of all time and then took to the days to tell everybody that he didn't cheat and that he's having to answer questions from a guy who goes by sliced bread. Yep, and it turned out to be a harbinger of things to come because you go 5-7 with the number one class in 2022 and 2-6 in the SEC. Yeah, dog. Somebody is going to find $76 million to give you your walk-in papers. What I find really just wild about that isn't just that they had $76 million they were willing to pay this man to go away. It's that Ross Bjork got to fire Jimbo Fisher in November 23, got to hire Mike Elko, and then left to be the athletic director at Ohio State. My goodness, man, Emporia State alumni do not get enough credit. That's one hell of a business turn that you just done there. That's some dealing. That is some absolute dealing because don't nobody want to win with their money as bad as A&M wants to win with their money. There ain't a whole lot of programs out there that can get everybody into their feelings about like A&M can get everybody into their feelings. There ain't a whole lot of programs that can turn Jimbo Fisher into a guy that we feel like was done wrong walking away with $76 million. But you know what? They fired him after they beat the hell out of somebody. And then we got Jimbo Fisher out here some months later talking about I'm watching film. Why now? Why in the SEC? Oh, you know why. You know damn well why. There are a few jobs for which some head coaches will no longer be the head coaches. Maybe a few of them are in the SEC. I think that is the only conference for which Jimbo Fisher wants to coach. I think that he would love nothing more than to join, shall we say, an SEC West rival team or a lower SEC East rival team because I'm telling y'all, man, I don't like talking about coaches on the hot seat, especially before the season starts, but there are expectations that must be met or people with lots of money are going to pay you to go away because that's how this sport works. However, I will say Florida's got a really tough schedule. South Carolina's got a tough schedule. Arkansas's got a tough schedule. And it feels like at Florida, Arkansas, we're just going to have to deal with what it is, man. I personally am invested in Arkansas winning because I love Sam Pittman so much. And I really love what that program is like when it has a winner at football. But right now, Arkansas fans, for the most part, they want to be talking about John Calipari. Okay, right? It's football season, but okay, that's where you're getting your love from. Or the track team, which, by the way, is ungodly every single year, man. The Arkansas track and field, my God. Say nothing of A&M track and field. Matter of fact, SEC track and field, LSU track and field, right? Like, dude set the Olympic pole vault record, and people were clapping in Paris. And what did he say? Sound like Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. Yo, that's how they be making them in the SEC. That is why Jimbo Fisher wants to get back there. And I think I would like to see what would happen if somebody tried to hire Jimbo Fisher at Vanderbilt. That's what I want. That's what I want. I've gone long enough in the segment before I let out with the full on. RJ is on one right now. RJ got to take. Give Jimbo Fisher Vanderbilt. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Jimbo Fisher Vanderbilt is not only the content that we need, but it is probably gonna. Vanderbilt ain't been nobody since James Franklin left. And if James Franklin can go get you 9 wins back-to-back years, what do you think Jimbo Fisher is willing to do to go get you 11, to go get you 12? Can you imagine what it would be like for people to look down at Vanderbilt and believe they got a football game they got to play as opposed to a spirited scrimmage against the threes on their squad? That's what we're asking here. I think you bring somebody over there that knows what it takes to win at LSU, that knows what it takes to beat Nick Saban, that knows what it takes to win at Florida State, that knows what it takes to be at A&M. You give him that West Virginia background, you give him that fast-talking drawl of his, and you put him among those wealthy folks that call themselves Commodores that ain't got enough money to spend on the football team but got money to spend on everything else, and you make them believe they got a shot to go win and give you some of the money that they be giving to everybody else. Dog, do you know how insufferable Vanderbilt would be if they became the best team in the state of Tennessee? Do you know how insufferable they would be to Memphis fans, to Tennessee fans, if they were the best in the state? Do you know how insufferable they would be if they were looking up at an opportunity to play in the SEC championship game? Remember, this is a legacy squad here, folks. This is one of the original founding members of the SEC, and they ain't been about nothing to nobody save maybe 3 years in their entire existence. I want Jimbo in the SEC, and I want Jimbo at Vanderbilt.